You're watching the Hampton Classic Horse Show on WVVH-TV, Hamptons Television.
Thank you for joining us. We're back here, capacity crowd to witness this Hampton Classic Grand Prix. And Peter, you have some information for us regarding the Longines,
Well, Irish rider Shane Sweetnam has won the Longines leading rider title by virtue of his fantastic win yesterday in the Longines Cup, and then placing very, very high up in today's standing. I believe he finished like 5th or 6th. An absolutely brilliant week for Shane Sweetnam of Ireland. He is our Longines leading rider for the 2019
All right, we're going to go quickly
Classic.
to our animation.
Here
Please,
we go.
Peter.
This is the jump off. This is where we find out who wins today. It starts out over the original fence 2. The riders want to make a sharp right to left angle and gallop over to the original fence 3. That's a 1.60 m Douglas Elliman vertical. And then there is a set striding to just 4A, the beginning of the combination. I think they're going to be able to get inside the water to gallop over to the Hermes Oxer. It caused a lot of trouble in the first round. Then you fly on over, make a tight turn on the double Liverpools. That's an Oxer vertical in and out, and then a tight turn. There's nothing in the way back on the DOHA vertical. This is 1.62 m high, and then it's the run for home. We saw some riders do 9 strides to the last in the first round to save time. What will they do in the jump off?
And that's our jump off animation, and wow,
it's a wonderful jump
what
over.
A picture.
A nice number of left turns and right turns, places to gallop, places to make short turns. There's a shot of the Doha obstacle,
we
number
focus
13.
our attention to the field, and I see Alan Healy is out there ready to proclaim the start of this jump.
Alan Keeley's going to be sounding the call. Now, with 3 horses in it, what's the strategy? That's really the question that the riders are thinking through right now. And when you only have 3 in a big money class like this, it's a little more like chess. There really is a strategy involved. Unlike when you have 15 horses in a jump off, that's more like poker. And you're going to have to go out and lay it down. So let's see what these exciting, experienced riders do to determine who's going to win. Going last is a big, big advantage, Ernie.
And going last today will be?
Lucy Deslauriers. I mean, she's very young, but boy, she has ice water in her veins, and she's riding her trusted partner, Hester. Before her, her father is going, Mario Deslauriers, representing his home country of Canada. He's on a very, very fast mare. And then you've got Devin Ryan, who knows how to win on a big stage like this with the big strided, big jumping Eddie Blue. He can make turns right up there with McLean Ward. He really knows how to, make up against it by using his stride and making tight turns. Mario Deslauriers will be using ground speed. Lucy Deslauriers, she'll be using a combination of both. She can turn, and she's got a huge stride.
Unbelievable. You could feel the excitement, the tension. This has been an exciting time here at the Hampton Classic, which began on Sunday, and now we are here at Grand Prix Sunday. So stay with us. Alan Keeley.
Thank you very much, Alan Keeley. The first of 3 here in our time jump off today. Time will separate those with identical scores.
So going first, USA's Devin Ryan. This horse has taken a little bit of a breather this past summer, and this is the beginning of Devin's journey to next year's Olympic Games, if everything goes to plan. Getting a look at the Hermes Oxer on his entrance. Looking over where he's going to go. You can see him riding the course with his eyes. We've got 3 experienced riders. Devin Ryan has signaling the judges to give his horse a moment to finish his business. There's a lot of ground to cover on this big field. It all starts with a big gallop. Devin getting his lead. He's going to try to angle fence one right to left. What a scopy horse. Oh, he's deep. It's down. He went out there to take a shot and made a mistake. He's inside. He still wants to be a little fast because the others that come after him, Mario and Lucy, if they have a pole down, Devin wants to be faster. Now we do a turn on the double Liverpools. 2 jumps to go. This Doha meter 62 vertical caused a lot of trouble in the first round. The 9 got very slow. So 1 down, 42.66 seconds. Devin knows it's unlikely that he's going to win today. That's really too bad. He went out gangbusters, got too deep to number 2. The Douglas Elliman vertical, it came down. I know he's disappointed, but we've still got 2 top international riders to go. Well, the Deslauriers family knows that one of the 2 of them could win this class today. A clear round will take home top prize in the Doha Hampton Classic Grand Prix. Be interesting to see what Mario does. I would think the strategy of a neat, clear round, and then if his daughter goes in and beats him, well, it's all in the family.
Amazing. I don't know if that's ever happened before here at the Hampton Classic Horse Show, where the last 2 riders are father and daughter, and what competitors they are.
Mario being neat and prompt, but not, leaving it all out there on the table. Now he's got the double Liverpools. Still up. 2 jumps to go. He's got to leave this tough jump up. He has. He's done the 9 strides. It's up. He's clear.
All right. Time of 42.82.
And Mario Deslauriers from Canada has jumped his way into the top spot here in the Doha $300,000 Hampton Classic Grand Prix. What a brilliant, brilliant ride. A very smart ride.
Wow, that was a very smart ride. Very smart.
Careful mare. Top jockey. So the Deslauriers household has won this year's 2019 Hampton Classic Grand Prix, but who's going to be the winner? Father Mario or daughter Lucy? You would think Lucy has nothing to lose by going out to try to beat her dad. The worst she can be is 3rd.
Well, that is
and the
amazing.
family still wins.
And he posted a very fast time. So let's watch.
We're all holding our breath. Personally, I'd like to see the USA win. As the 8 strides, horse is jumping very well. She got inside, did not slip the way Dad did. It's still up. She's got 1 in and out and 2 jumps to go. She can leave this up. I think she's faster. There's no question. Look at that turn. Do it, Lucy. Oops.
Oh. She had the
that's
time.
Such a shame.
But the rail went down, and Mario Deslauriers is our winner of the Hampton Classic Grand Prix 2019 edition. What a story.
Absolutely fantastic. And Lucy, by virtue of her very fast time, goes into 2nd place So Canadian Mario Deslauriers walks away with the top prize. USA's Lucy Deslauriers and USA's Devin Ryan complete the podium in the silver and bronze position.
Wow. What an exciting. Let's look at our leaderboard here. And our winner today is Mario Deslauriers, #1 position. Peter, our winner of today's Hampton Classic Grand Prix, Mario Deslauriers, is coming into the ring. The presentation, the honors. We're going to be hearing the Canadian
look at the
national
cameras.
anthem.
Look at all the cameras. I mean, to the winner goes the spoils.
Amazing.
And there's a lot of spoils out there for the winner of the Hampton Classic. But what a talented rider. And it's one of those incredible sports where when you don't have to be 25 years old to be at the top of the sport. The lifespan of a top rider is decades.
And how, I don't know if you know the answer. I know Marty would probably have the statistic on this, but Mario, has he ever won the Hampton Classic?
I don't think so.
I mean,
know
this is
he's
amazing.
been very, very close.
He's come close.
I don't believe he has.
And he's participated here for a number of years. How well deserved that is for Mario Deslauriers to win today's Hampton Classic Horse Show.
Here's Mario Deslauriers with his wonderful 10-year-old mare,
my.
Bardolina, owned by Rosalind
Look
Schaefer.
at this. This is exciting.
Gorgeous,
A
gorgeous
round of honor. Wow, look at this.
event. Lucy Deslauriers right behind in second. Devin Ryan for the USA in third on his gold medal mount. Eddie Blue. And behind these three gold, silver, and bronze Hampton Classic winners is the leading rider, presented by Longines' Shane Sweetnam. What a great shot. Fabulous, fabulous mare. And the mare's only 10 years old. Her best years are ahead of her, which is so exciting.
Nicely done, Mario Deslauriers.
And Mario's been
Look at
working.
that. Look at our crowd.
The crowd
The
loves it.
adulation. They love it. They love it. Great show. Great show, everyone.
And he really is.
To Mario and to all of our riders and horses. You guys have given us a great number of days here at the Hampton Classic Horse Show. And it's our pleasure to be able to bring this to our viewers and audience live. Well, that is amazing.
We recognize the top finishers in the main event of the Hampton Classic, the $300,000 DOHA.INC Grand Prix. In just a moment, we will take questions, but first, it's a privilege for me to introduce our guests. At my far right, our course designer who designed the courses here all week and gave us this thrilling jump off, Michelle Valancourt. To my immediate right, the winner, yet again, of the Longines Rider Challenge, taking home an extra $30,000, and yet another Longines watch from Ireland, Shane Sweetnam. To Shane's right, today's third place finisher, team gold medalist at last year's World Equestrian Games from the United States, Devin Ryan. Next to Michelle, today's reserve champion. In her junior days, an individual gold medalist at the North American Young Rider Championships. And just a few weeks ago, part of the United States bronze medal team at the Pan American Games. From the United States, our reserve champion, Lucy Deslauriers. And in the center, the champion of this year's DOHA.INC Grand Prix, two-time Canadian Olympic veteran, former World Cup champion, and probably most important, Lucy's dad, our winner from Canada, Mario Deslauriers. So Mario, the question I have for you, I don't think I have ever asked a winner before, But when you were sitting there with one rider to go, knowing you could win, and Lucy was in the ring, who were you rooting for?
Well, she won on Friday, so maybe I figured she'd give me a chance today. But I always know, Lucy and Esther make a great pair, and I know they're quick. So I did what I had to do to put a little pressure on, and whatever happened, happened. So
Well, you did put the pressure on, that's for sure. You did not make it easy. And Lucy, if you would tell us, we know you had the time. Is there anything you think you could have done differently coming to that last fence?
Yeah, I think I just got anxious. I knew I was quick. I knew my dad was in the lead, and I just really wanted it, and I just ate up the 9 in the last line. Should have just pulled a little harder. But, my horse was great. I really couldn't be happier. It's a family win regardless.
It is a family win. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of joy in the Deslauriers household tonight. You were spectacular, obviously, winning that class on Friday, and then your performance here today. Congratulations. And Devin, going first in the jump off is always difficult, of course. You have to go out there, and you don't know exactly what's coming after. If you were riding last in the jump off, would you have done anything differently than you did?
I probably wouldn't have tried to count 1 to 2. I walked the line there earlier when I went in, and when we were all riding around for the parade for ribbons, I asked Mario what was his plan there. He's like, oh, just ride off my eye. I'm like, I should have probably done that, learned a lesson.
Gotcha. We'll take questions. If you would please raise your hand, and we'll bring you the microphone. Thank you.
Mario, was that inside turn part of your plan in the jump off, or was that a last minute decision?
no, it was part of my plan. My horse has a real big stride, and I got easy at the vertical there 4A, and she shifts right anyway, so it was my good side to turn in front of the water. So for me, it was probably a bit quicker, and I could set up the rollback to not the rollback, but the line to the Hermes, go across, and it was something that I planned when I walked the course.
Next question. Bring it over to Kaylin, please, Michelle.
In the original course, the Liverpool combination to the Doha vertical seemed like it gave people a lot of difficulties. Maybe just talk a little bit about that. And Michelle, if you want to talk about that as well. And maybe some of the riders just talk about what it was like riding those 3 jumps and that rollback turn there.
In the first round you're talking about? Yeah, in the first round. Well, first and foremost, the course was quite long today, 14 efforts, which is normal for a Grand Prix of this caliber. The last 2 fences came very late. I was actually a little surprised to see so many horses having problem at that particular vertical. I sort of think that also what happens is that the way the ring was designed is it's very flat across the center of it, like a big rectangle, and then it sort of tapers off a little bit towards, the edges of the whole ring in order to provide proper drainage. And when you were coming up to that jump, you were actually coming uphill, not that much, but probably just enough that the horses kind of misjudged it a little bit. It was not the size, it was not the way it was built. I think it was pretty much more of its location and when it came up on course. If it had come up a little bit earlier when the horses were still fresh, at the end of the course like that, they were starting to take, it was starting to take their toll. They were getting a little bit tired.
Can I just follow up, Michelle? Was this what you expected in terms of clean rounds? It certainly seemed like there were challenges before we got the first clean round.
Well, there always is, especially at this event. This is my 2nd year in a row, and last year we didn't have a lot of clears either. But, it is a 4-star competition. It is a very important event. I mean, the Hampton Classic is one of the most important events on the circuit in North America. I thought the course was worthy of this particular event. And obviously, some people had a little bit of bad luck. The cream always rises to the top. At the end of the day, the best horses and the best riders will come on top. And when I look at the results like that, I could not be more pleased to see the results. But I also think that even though a lot of horses may have had some issues, they're all ready to go back out and compete again next week. I mean, nothing really disastrous happened. You know, it's not like there was a combination that wasn't jumpable or something like that. I thought it was a really fair test at the end. I mean, again, worthy of a 4-star and worthy of this competition.
Michelle, if you would pass that down this way, I'd like to talk to Shane for a quick moment. So Shane, you know, I remember years ago hearing from Frank Chapeau, the most important thing is to be consistently good. He said, you know, winning is great, but just be consistent. Now, this is the 3rd time you have won this Longines Rider Challenge. Consistent performances has certainly been your mark here. Do you do any special preparation for the Hampton Classic? Because every year you're right there.
No, not really, but I just came back from Europe and I had been in, my last show was Dublin on grass. The show before that was Aachen and then Shanty. So I'm getting, also did the boat, so I'm getting plenty of jumping on grass for my horses. So they're very comfortable on it, and I'm lucky to have good owners and good horses. So yeah, you know, and this is obviously a big show that we aim for every year, and I'm trying my best.
Well, you know, I also wonder, you flying here, which I know everyone's used to the travel, but did you even know you had your feet on the ground when you arrived here at the start of the week?
Yeah, well, I'm far happier sitting here than I was this day last week. I was in Rotterdam, and we didn't have a good week, so I'm very happy now. So.
Well, great week here, and you know, we've had this Longines Rider Challenge 7 years. Irish riders have won it all 7, so Devin, Lucy, you know, we're all kind of looking for an American one of these years.
Maybe you should ban the Irish.
Before the next question, I just want to take a moment to recognize a few people. We have been blessed over the years with some great sponsors here at the Hampton Classic. This year we have, I'm hesitant to say sponsor because it's really a new member of our Hampton Classic family. Tremendous supporters, tremendous fans. I'd like to recognize Syed Doha and Laura Meller of DOHA.INC. We thank you so much. I know every time I walked by your table, all I saw was smiles. It seems that you enjoy this as much as anyone I've ever seen here. We thank you so much. I, of course, also would like to recognize the person who works on this 365 days a year. Next year it will be 366 days. The one who has overall responsibility for the Hampton Classic, Executive Director Shanette Cohen. And someone who really leads the Hampton Classic, but at this moment she's here with a big smile on her face as a wife, as a mom, probably the happiest person in the room, the chairman of the board of the Hampton Classic, Lisa Deslauriers. As we said before, it's going to be a very happy night in the Deslauriers house. Next question. I saw Michelle's hand go up.
I'm sure you both must get asked this all the time, but this week in particular, whenever I saw you riding, you were going, one was coming in, one was going out. In normal other situations, how much do you usually talk to each other? Do you walk your courses together? Do you spend time at the horse shows together?
So, of course, we spend a lot of time together. We were riding at home before this morning. We came to hack our horses after for the Grand Prix. You know, when McLean is around, he helps her a little more. When he's not, I have those duties. So, and then we try to, you know, get along and be friendly. So, but in general, we do spend a lot of time. And I don't know, for some reason, let's say in Spruce, we go back to back often. So this is a little more complicated. Like here, we were close again in the order on Friday and today. But Lucy is getting seasoned, and she can take care of her own now, pretty much.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll go back to Kaylin. You can just kind of, you know, you two should sit next to each other next year.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your relationship when Lucy was little? Like, were you the first one that put her on a pony? Or tell me a little bit about that, or was that more of Mom?
Well, I think Lucy and Jack started to ride, I think when they were 3 or 4 on a pony, or even earlier. But I saw Lucy on her ponies, let's say at Pony Final in Kentucky, we actually weren't doing it ourselves. We had Krista and Beacon Hill, and actually John Brennan started Lucy on her first pony. So we've had lots of help through, you know, our friends that are in the horse world, and yeah, it went on from there. And then I think she started to ride Esther in the low junior jumper at Old Salem in the spring. It seems like a long time ago, but I think it's 6-7 years already. So just to tell you, they both grew up together.
Lisa, did you want the mic for a second? Okay, pass it back.
Lucy's first time showing at the Hampton Classic, not in lead line, was on a pony that actually came out of retirement, and it was lent to her by Patsy and Alvin Topping, and a very, very good famous pony called Robin Hood. And they pulled it out of retirement because our family had started riding at Swan Creek Farm many years ago, and she'd never ridden it before. And that was the first time she really competed at the Hampton Classic. And I think, if I remember correctly, you were champion in short stirrup, and it was a big surprise. But that was kind of a fun Hampton Classic for Lucy as well. So, little background.
I would just like to mention also Lisa is a former Grand Prix rider, rode internationally for the United States equestrian team. So, good bloodlines. Next, Michelle.
Could each of you please just give me a little quick once-over on what your plans are for the next sort of calendar year with these horses?
My horses fly Tuesday night to Calgary, and they start competing there on Thursday for the Masters. And then Gold Cup after.
Sorry, I mean, like your longer-term plan with this horse?
These two horses will do the Masters and come back for the Gold Cup, and after that a little break, and then start the indoor season.
Are you aiming for the Olympics with this one?
Yes, these, I have two. I have Bardolina and Amsterdam. Both will definitely, hopefully one of them goes.
Yeah, I'll be balancing both school and riding in the next year. So I'll do Gold Cup next, maybe some indoors, and then Florida is our next big circuit in the winter. Yeah, I'll be in and out of school, and you know, trying to keep up with results on my main guy, Hester.
Devin?
Yeah, with Eddie Blue, my plan is Gold Cup, another World Cup qualifier, and then I'm going to do Kentucky indoor, give him a nice little break, and then gear up towards Deer Ridge down in Florida, another World Cup qualifier, and then just try to just coast along and save him, preserve him a little bit, and give him, my goal obviously would be trying to make the short list going into next year towards Olympic trials.
Shane?
I'm doing a Gold Cup as well with this guy, or with this team of horses. We have to see a little bit. Ireland still aren't qualified for the Olympics, and we have Barcelona in 4 or 5 weeks, and I'm not sure yet if I'm going back or not. So I suppose a lot will depend on that. But I have two. This horse obviously jumped to World Championships last year, and then Alejandro. So I have two very good horses that do have a chance at the Olympics next year. So we'll see if we can get a ticket first.
Well, as we mentioned, there's some celebrating that is on the docket for these riders, especially Mario and Lucy and Lisa as well. And we want to congratulate all of you. Michelle, great job. Syed and Laura, we thank you so much for your being part of the Hampton Classic. We thank you all for coming, and we look forward to having everybody back here next year for our 45th annual Hampton Classic. Before we let you go, we'll ask for some photos against the backdrop, but Mario, Lucy, Devin, Shane, and Michelle, great job. Thank you.
You're watching the Hampton Classic Horse Show on WVVH-TV, Hamptons Television.